Welcome back to the Out of the Park Developments YouTube channel. My name is Alex Murray, also known as AZ Axel, and today we're going to be talking about playing games in our 3D game environment and how to properly manage them using our features in game. So if you've got your OOTP 22 games open, let's jump right in and let's get started. Alright, so we've covered not only how to be able to view pitchers, hitters, fielding, and running, but also how to be able to make roster transactions and do some minor moves, moving up players up and down at this point. So we're good to jump into a ball game officially. So if our Atlanta Braves test team, as you can see right here, we're going to jump into a game. Now, during the course of the regular season, you will have very many games, 162 potentially, and you're going to want to know how to get into them. So the fastest way to be able to get into a game, there are 3 different ways. One is using the play drop-down menu. If you have a game in this day, you can play it by hitting the giant green play button, basically. The second way to do it is actually to hit the play versus game. This will take you to the exact same location. And then thirdly, we have a handy-dandy continue button, which will also take you to the next important step for your day, which could be playing your game. Now, I recommend at least getting familiar with this play drop-down menu. We'll talk a little bit more about this down the road, though. We actually have a tutorial just about advancing days and going through all these events. So, for now, we're going to go ahead and hit play game versus Pittsburgh. Now, this is going to bring us into our, almost like a getting ready screen, our options and previews. This is our starting point for 3D playing gameplay. You're going to see a whole bunch of options in the middle up here, right up top in the middle. There's a whole bunch of different things you're going to have to look through. If you want to change any of these, you can. This can be as simple as basically saying, hey, no fireworks or home run horns when the home team hits a home run. If you want to have the game speed faster or slower, if you want to have the cameras change, you can do a whole bunch of stuff with those right about there. And then you can also change these when you get into your 3D game. So don't feel like as if you're stuck here and whatever you set is set in stone. There are some things that are set in stone, but most of these have customizations even when you're inside of the game. So don't be afraid to tinker with them and have some fun. Now, these first ones are going to be most important, telling the game which ballpark you're going to be in, whether or not you're using the DH rule, and whether or not you want to have pitcher warm-ups. This would require you to have your bullpen warm pitchers up, otherwise they're cold coming into a ball game. So for our example, we're going to say no warm-up is required. They come in already warm and ready to go. Now, you can already see that we have some stuff set up to be as the AI instead of us. And then, of course, the AI is controlling the opposing team, which in this case is going to be the Pirates. But we would like to change some of these to us being in control. Most importantly, the offense, the running, the pitching, the defense, and the substitutions. Now, you can always just hit the set all button, and that would do the exact same thing. But for some people, they don't really care about the pitching strategy or the defense strategy. If if Walt Weiss wants to control the defensive shifts and the changes and such, that might be an okay thing to give him control over. But for now, we're going to control everything because that's a good one to be able to have. And down below, of course, you have all of your lineups. So if you have anything that you need to change or you spot something that looks wrong or incorrect, you may want to come into here and make some changes. If you're playing as just the GM, you may not get an option to change these lineups. And the manager that you hired may be making substitutions and depth charts changes. So if someone needs a day off, you might see somebody in a different spot in the lineup, depending upon how that looks. Now, there are a couple of things on this page as well in terms of team stats. If you wanted to see how good the teams that you're playing against are doing, try to take advantages of some of those stuff, or just even to see how you're doing compared to them, you can do that there. You can also see the team leaders for both teams, I believe, in being able to see who has been faring the best out of both teams. This is just kind of more of a recap and a cool way to be able to kind of look at both sides. We can totally take a look at the Pittsburgh Pirates team. Both their hitters and pitchers are listed right about here. Richard Rodriguez and Brian Hayes look to be their 2 best players. Maybe Adam Frazier's on that list as well. Brian Reynolds, of course. And for our listing, of course, we can make our own starting lineup changes right about here, as well as our starting pitching change. If we wanted to say maybe not have Charlie Morton go pitch today, we could actually go ask someone like Ian Anderson or even Max Fried to start opening day for us. But otherwise, guys, we're set and ready to go. I'll join you guys inside of the 3D game mode. Alrighty, and we are now in the 3D environment. I've got my headphones on so I can actually hear what's going on off the sound of the bat and the ball being thrown around. So as you can see, welcome to our 3D environment. You have all the players out here on the field. At this point, the ball will be thrown and the players will run around the field and make the plays happen just like they would in real life. There's a whole bunch of buttons, though. Way up there in the middle, you can see them. A whole bunch of different ways that we can control the action directly. So as you can see, when we are pitching and when you pitch as the defensive team, you have options to control different things, such as pitching to a batter, pitching around a batter, pitching to contact to a batter, holding runners when there are runners on, picking off to first, second, and third. That's 5, 6, and 7 up here in the middle. And then, of course, pitching out is 8, intentional walk is 9, and then A and B is hitting the batter if you want to, and B is visiting the mound to buy time for your bullpen to get warm if you're doing bullpens. It can also help actually kind of reset your pitcher if you're starting to see them get a little bit loose or if they're starting to have a problem. You can try to kind of calm them down, maybe help them refocus a little bit. All right. As you can see, Anthony Alford is up to bat. Charlie Morton is pitching. The defense around us is pretty good. We've got a couple of Gold Glovers across the outfield at this point, and our catcher is Travis D'Arnaud. Or D'Arnaud. D'Arnaud? I've never gotten his last name correct. My apologies. Anything else I need to talk about? Yeah, so there are some quick play options and defense. So down below all of our controls for pitchers, it's going to be an option to go from pitch to pitch or complete at bat. So if you want to just sim the entire at bat, you can have it on the left side. And then if you want to go pitch by pitch, you can have it checked on. And then we will actually have a pitch by pitch selection for the entire at bat. This is a lot longer taking, but if you want direct control, you're going to like that. Our defensive switches and shifts are right next to that. We can do all of these different options in regards to, say, like Anthony's probably pretty good at putting the bunt down. I probably would guard the lines a little bit with him just in case. He's also a spray hitter, so he's going to spray the ball all over the infield and outfield. He is a ground ball type spray hitter, though, so we'll see if he's going to actually do that or not. The outfield, I would say, is probably in a little bit against Anthony. He doesn't have exactly the most power in the world. If we go to Anthony's chart, we can see he's a ground ball hitter, spray a little bit on the doubles, but I think we could probably play him in and it wouldn't be a problem. So we'll do some little switches. Oops, my apologies. Guard the lines, probably outfield in. And we'll do pitch by pitch for this one right about here. So we'll go ahead and we'll pitch to the batter for our pitcher situation right here. You can also quick play if you'd like to the entire at bat until runners are in scoring position. That's what RISP means. The half inning, or you can even go in and go to any inning of your choice. All right, so we'll go ahead and pitch to the batter. Just to show off an example here of how to do pitching. And of course, we have our very long intro here about the Braves facing off against the Pirates here for the first time in 2021. There goes Morton right off the bat. Sinker misses inside, unfortunately. Let's go ahead and do the entire at bat at this point. We'll have the stuff still set up with the defense. And we get him to strike out. Very nice. Let's go ahead and do the half inning, and we'll see if Charlie Morton can manage to keep going. He gave up 2 hits. We did a good job. For offense situations, your choices are a little bit different. You get to swing away, which means it gives the batter the ability to just be aggressive. You can also take a pitch if you want them to be just taking it completely. Try to make the pitcher work for it. I would only do this on pitchers who have very little control. If you have a pitcher who's like a Zach Greinke who has lots of control, they're going to hit a lot of their pitches, and it's going to be a bad thing to take a bunch of pitches. Bunting for hit is number 3. That's if you have a person who has really good bunt for hit ability. Acuna's not too bad at 55, but Cabrian Hayes' defense at third base is 70. I would not recommend making that choice. Plus, Acuna, he can hit the long ball. We're just swinging away with him. Other options you can do is, of course, stealing second, stealing third, and stealing home. You can also do a double steal if there's runners on first and second, or technically first and third, I think, and second and third, but that's kind of hard. You can also send forced. So if the runner doesn't like the pitch and they don't have enough speed, they will start to run and then stop. You can send them forced, and they are required to run, period. It will mean that they will run regardless of how good the pickoff, how good the jump was, how good the pitch selection is. They just go. And it's up to your judgment instead of their judgment to know what the best pitch to steal on is. Number 9 is hitting and running. That's a hit and run situation. The batter's job is to put the ball in play. The runner is moving before contact is made. They are expecting the batter to put the ball in play. This is normally really good for people who have high contact. And if they're a ground ball player, that's pretty good too. That means they're actually going to put the ball in play, and it most likely will be on the ground. You really don't want to do hit and runs on like major fly ball hitters. You can, but there's a higher chance of, the runner having to run all the way back to first base and potentially getting doubled off on a, on a routine fly out at that point. Running and hitting means that the runner is completely stealing the bag, and the hitter has the option to either swing or not. It's more of a focus on the running, and then the hitting takes secondary place. The first one is all about the batter must put the ball in play. This one is all about the runner must steal second base or third base. And then the hit is whether or not the hitter feels like it's good enough to swing at. So the hitter gets green light, but they're not forced. The runner is forced. Squeeze bunting is number B, or letter B at this point. That's if you want to be able to do a runner on third base and you do a squeeze bunt, try to get the runner to steal home while you put the bunt down, or at least put the bunt down and the runner is already moving and trying to go home on the play. It's a great way to be able to try to squeeze a run out of a situation. And then, of course, the safety squeeze is a much more safe one. That's about trying to put the ball down. It's a larger bunt. It's normally going to be a sacrifice bunt with a runner on third base. So the squeeze bunt is a desperate attempt. The safety squeeze is more of a secure approach to trying to score the runner from third base on a bunt play. So squeeze bunt if you're aggressive, safety squeeze if you want to be more conservative with a runner on third base, and a good bunter at home plate. Make sure it's a good bunter at home plate. Let's go ahead and swing away with Acuna here in the bottom of the first. And we'll see what he can do. He'll take a strike outside. Let's go ahead and go back to at-bat, simulating the at-bat at this point. Acuna's going to ground it over. Pitcher runs over, makes the play. Makes it look easy. All right. So that's how you're going to be able to do a whole bunch of stuff as you go through your ball game. And we'll just go ahead and start kind of simulating some half innings here. See if we can get some stuff started. Our offense not looking very good. There we go. 2 runs. I'm going to go ahead and go all the way to the 7th inning at this point. We're up 1-3. This is when you're going to start to have to do substitutions and a whole bunch of other stuff. So you can see Charlie Morton's getting a little tired. Now, you can use your bullpen if you are required to use your bullpen. You can also just go up here to the Atlanta substitutions or hit the plus button. This will bring up your bullpen screen, allowing you to be able to see who you have available. It'll also show you how many pitches they've had in their past. I think it's like 6 or 7 days. For us, we want Minter and Martin warming up. So we're going to warm up Minter and Martin. Oh, no, sorry. No bullpen, so it's a straight substitution. But if you had bullpens and needing to warm up, you would have had to warm them up first. But we're going to bring in Minter here in the top of the 7th to be able to relieve Morton at this point. He's going to walk Newman to start him off, unfortunately. But he'll get out of it, and that's just fine. If you want to do pinch hits, we just passed our number 8 hitter, so let's see if we can get to a spot where we can do that. Nope, maybe next inning we'll get a chance to be able to do that. Let's bring in Martin to pitch here. We're backwards. We should have had the lefty in this inning and then the other person in the other inning. But anyways, we're good to go at this point. We're not going to get a pinch hitting situation, unfortunately, as we're going to try to close it out here. But pinch hitting for players is going to be done through the substitution screen. We could look at doing a defensive substitution, though. Let me see if there's somebody available for that. I don't think there is. We're pretty good all around in terms of defense. We might have, we'll put Camargo in at third base. So we'll swap out Riley with Camargo, and he'll go play third. So this is how you'll do pinch hits and defensive substitutions, as well as pinch runners. All right? You'll do those all here in your Atlanta or your team substitutions page. All right, let's close this game out, shall we? Will Smith gets to go up against the Pirates here in the top of the 9th inning. Ooh, that was hit pretty well. Pretty high, pretty deep, up against the wall. And that'll be an extra base hit, unfortunately. It's going to be a triple. Wow. All right, well, that's not a good start to our top of the 9th, guys. I'm not happy about that, unfortunately. They'll bring in Evans to pinch hit. We're going to pitch around Evans. Flies it out towards center. That's definitely going to score the run. Pache has to just run and make the catch.
Good kidding.
That'll bring it up to Anthony Alford to see if he can do something about this. Let's see what he can do. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to make one little adjustment. There we go. So we still have our 2-3 lead at this point. We can still close this out. We get him to strike out. The crowd is pumped. We're pumped. Let's do this, guys. Ryan Reynolds, last chance for the Pirates here. Top of the 9th. 0-2 pitch on the way. And that is a ball game. A very quick and little rough way of introducing you guys to our 3D environment, but hopefully you learned something new and you were able to see all the different features we have. There are a whole bunch more features, such as your camera angles and a whole bunch of those other settings I talked about. We'll talk about those later in different tutorials, but that was just a rough outline of how to play a game in our 3D environment. So thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll have more tutorials just like this with our Atlanta Braves. Sorry, wrong direction. Our Atlanta Braves team. We win 3-2. Let's see if we can win the World Series by the end of these tutorials, guys. I'll talk to you all later.